The armature is the understructure to a figure drawing, painting, animation, caricature, sculpture, 3D model, and many more figure-related applications. It is one way, a very solid way, to start any pose. Structure is developed with this armature. Volume is developed in this armature. Its dimension and depth with its position in space is developed with this armature, as well as its gesture, pure and uncluttered, with no unnecessary details whatsoever. The shape language that represents this armature is simple and easy to draw for anyone at any skill level. Drawing the forms properly will take some additional perspective studies to visually lock them down. The forms are basic and user-friendly. They shouldn't take too much time to learn how to use. The torso is the only form that needs some extended practice to nail it down. Its convex curves take some time to get used to, and it takes time to break the habit of drawing straight lines instead of using curves to represent that initial figure form. The figure and the figure armature should be studied, starting with basic poses that are easy to measure and are not too asymmetrical or dynamic enough that foreshortening is needed over and over again. Work up to the more dynamic poses when the basic shapes have been studied and well understood. The ellipses that are used across the figure forms help measure the perspective and depth of the figure. Everything should be drawn through, meaning draw full ellipses and not arcs. Draw through the foot forms and the hand forms. Use solid ellipses for the head measuring, and use center lines for all the core shapes, the head, the neck, and the torso. You're learning how to feel the forms and weight by these implied dimensions. Over time, they will feel more proper in their weight and weight distribution, and the posing will take on a new level of maturity when this happens. Don't be too precious with the line work at first. The figure forms take time to develop, and the act of drawing the form is more important than their cleanliness. This too will improve over time and practice. Complex poses distort the forms, especially the pillow form. It requires learning how to overlap the upper and lower half to each other, and recognizing when the correct overlapping lines have been used. Twisting, turning, bending, leaning, flexing, and extending the forms are just some of the many dynamics included in the movement of the figure. Each should be tackled as a specific lesson to experience the various types of pose problems that will be encountered. Each has a unique set of solutions that extends the visual language for the artist. When the full range of pose problems has been tackled, it is much easier to then invent poses from the imagination with clarity and conviction in their gesture. The purpose of these specific figure drawing tools is to eventually get away from the need to have to use reference at all. As your figure studies evolve, eventually the entire drawing from idea to completion can be done from the imagination that looks totally convincing and like reference was totally used. When we study, it's not just to make a good drawing. It's to help elevate our skills to the point of being able to peer directly into the imagination and craft what is conjured up with crystal clarity and realistic to stylistic finishes. This will require a decent amount of dedication, a willingness to practice and fail just to experience, a persistence and stubbornness to get up after each fail and keep plugging away, knowing that this hard work will set one artistically free in the long run. Oh, and in case you didn't notice, I've made a little figure drawing primer booklet that will be sold exclusively this year at the San Diego Comicon, and soon other booklets with more steps to follow, eventually leading to a full and complete figure drawing manual. This booklet maps out the design ins and outs of the figure armature, tips, do's and don'ts, and it answers why it's an important tool to use for any figure-related art we make. So come on over. I'll be at booth 5561. I'm also doing demonstration lectures using this armature and more on Friday and Saturday upstairs in room 11. I'll be demonstrating and selling these booklets and my art drawing mats at the booth all week. I hope to see you there. And I'm looking forward to posting the next Muddy Colors article next month. Take care, everybody, and stay creative.